Hi, I'm Jonna and I'm with Esties International, and you can find us at www.estieinternational.com. Today we have Nunu, and we're going to do a soft and sultry look on Nunu today. Okay? When I like to start my makeup, I like to start with the Instant Skin Smoother. It creates a very soft silicone palette along her skin so that the makeup goes on nice and smoothly and very even. So what I like to do is just put a little bit on my wrist and apply it evenly all over her face, especially in her T-zone. It's going to help with that oiliness and shiny. We used to go for really matte. Nowadays we're looking for more fresh skin, nice and dewy. So this is going to give me a nice even palette all over her face, but I definitely want to concentrate right here in that T-zone. You always go down because the hairs on the face go down. Otherwise you don't want to stir up and look like you have on much more makeup than you actually do. And then of course on the forehead you go over and across. Next I'm going to start with my liquid powder mineral foundation with SPF 15. I love this foundation because not only is it a liquid, but it's also a powder. So I have the I'm able to use one and get two things accomplished. Okay, I'm going to use two different colors because usually your skin color, you're a little lighter in the center and then a little darker around the perimeter. So today we're going to be working with Honey, Bronze, and Fawn. Okay, again, that's the liquid powder mineral foundation. I'm going to take a little bit of our lighter color and apply it in the center. You see, I'm not applying a whole lot of makeup because we're just trying to get the skin more even. Right now we're just doing something, she's going to go to dinner when we're finished, so we just want to have a nice after 5 look. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit in here because right up here is where we really tend to start to tan. That's where the sun loves to hit us. That's why it's very important that we wear sunscreen. Even though we think that it doesn't affect us, it does. And I want to make sure I blend into the neck past the chin so that we don't have any lines. I'm just going to use a little bit right here on her lid to sweep across those eyelids. Now, because it does have, it will finish to a powder finish, I do want to use the Mineral Powder Foundation SPF 8 in Toast. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this to kind of just bring the two colors together, not necessarily for more coverage, but just to give it a nice finish. Again, always going in the direction of the hair growth. You see, I'm not using a lot of powder or a lot of product, and I am using a very large powder brush, okay? The larger the brush, the less product you're going to distribute, okay? The smaller the brush, the more product you're going to apply. So now I'm going to use an angled brush. Our angled brushes are great for eyeliner. They're also great for doing your eyebrows. It's really preference, but this is one of the brushes that I prefer to use when I'm doing eyebrows. What I'm going to use on her eyebrows, I'm actually going to use the Brunette Brow Sculpt, okay? And that does come in a dual pack. It has a powder and a wax finish so that you can help control the brows as well as add a little color and shape to the brows. Because her hair is so dark, I don't want to use a dark shadow or color inside of her eyebrows because I want her eyebrows to frame her face, not necessarily stand out or be the main attraction. I just want them to be, you know, the frame of the face. Okay? Bring her head up for me. When I'm doing my brows, I like them to look as natural as possible, unless I'm going for a different look. And how you do that is making sure that you measure and you use your face as a measuring guide. Your nose, for example. Your nose and your eyebrows should line up. and then the center of your eye and the corner of your nose. And then at the end of your eye, end of your nose is where your eyebrows should actually end. Okay, so you can use that as a guide when you're going in to shape your brows. So I'm just taking the color, and at first I take the color and I drag the brush along to create my shape. If I want to apply more color, I can push the color into the skin. Or I could use a pencil. But I just want her brows to look fuller and clean. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to use a shadow magnet. It kind of acts like a concealer and a shadow magnet to hold any of the shadows that you want to use and keep them in place. I'm going to use this right underneath her brows and across the entire eye. I'm going to go right over this hair here, and I'm going to highlight that area as well. And I'm just using a very small brush, and I just want to make sure that her eyebrow looks very clean. And this is going to also help keep this shadow in place, and no matter how much she dances, keep it right there, not sliding down your face. You can see how clean that looks. Just really makes that brow defined. I'm going to do the same over here. Another color that I'm going to use, or one of the first colors I'm going to use, is her brow highlight. And this is called Silk Sheets Polychromatic. This is one of our eyeshadows. And I'm going to use this as a highlight color right underneath her brow bone. And this will be kind of a beige shimmer, definitely a highlight color. And I'm just going to pull that color right down into the crease area. The next color that I'm going to use is from our color palette. It's our Signature Shadow Trio. Try saying that 3 times. Okay, so this is Soiree, and this is a beautiful palette of colors, and you can actually use these wet to dry. So just using it a little bit damp kind of magnifies your color to like a 10th degree, whereas if you wear it dry, it's much more sheer. Toward her lash line, so I'm going to use my brush with the brushes or the bristles going toward her lash line. Okay, so I'm going to apply this all over her lid. If you were to use this color dry, again, it would be much more sheer. But Nunu has great eyes, so this makes it very easy. Whenever you're doing makeup, I think your key words should be blend, 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 and this is one of those brushes. Because I want to do a nice soft crease in here. I don't want a hard line. I just want to kind of define this area, nice almond eye. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to put it in my kind of a brown color, and I'm going to blend out and just kind of define her eye right in there. But I don't want a line, okay? And I'm going to use this color dry. You could definitely see how just with that little bit of color, if I was to use it wet, it would be even much more dramatic. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to use our Super Wear Gel Liner in Noir. This is my favorite item. It's a gel liner that has the lasting power. Like, I love a black eyeliner. So you can put this on and you have a little time to work with as far as creating, you know, whatever effects you want with it. But once it dries, that's it. It's not moving. Okay? So like I said, I have a few seconds or minutes to work with it. So I'm gonna kind of smudge it because I want it to be nice and smudged and softened, okay? Because I still have a little time to work with it. Just blend right here. Give a nice depth to that crease. I'm gonna use some matte bronze baked finishing powder. I love this to kind of bring the skin back to life a little bit. We did have used some powders, but this will kind of just give it that sun-kissed glow. Remember we talked about we're looking for more dewy effect instead of so matte. I'm going to use some blush. This is blush number 326. Okay, so now you can kind of see I'm going to add my pop of color. Okay, because we kind of stayed a little soft and more neutral tones on her eyes, we're going to start adding a little bit more color. So I'm going to add this right here on the top of her apples of her cheeks. And I'm using our lashes, number 76, okay? And they are available on the website, www.estinternational.com. The glue is actually better once it's kind of been sitting out for a little while because it's more tacky. If it's more tacky, you can get it in there, maneuver it, and you don't have to wait for it to dry on the eye, and it has a tendency to move around. And I'm going to try and get this as close to her lash line as I can. Okay, so I'm going to let that glue dry a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and move down to her lips. If you use more liner than you do a cream, your actually liner will stain your lip and you'll have more color on your lips a lot longer, okay? So this is Scarlet. I'm using kind of a red. I love red and gold together. It's beautiful, red and bronze. It's just a very classic look. Some people are afraid of red lipstick, but it's actually very, very beautiful. Okay, so you can see I filled in most of her lips with the color. What I'm going to use is our Lip Rouge in number 11. It's a very nice scarlet red. It matches that scarlet lip liner really nicely. I am going to apply this with a lip brush, just because I feel like I have more control when I apply with a lip brush. And that's our lip. I'm going to just quickly move back to the eye, just finish that up. Across the top, I'm going to go across and just add a little bit more liner here. Again, it's ready every time. I love that. Just for a little more drama, right across that waterline. I'm going to smooth it out and smudge it just a little bit. And for our last touch, mascara. I'm using the black in our volume mascara. And I'm just pushing a slight bit of color into those lashes and bringing them together. Move forward. And that should be our finished look. This is Nuna. Any of our tips or anything that you need to know, you can always order on www.estinternational.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.